Okay, you ready? You gotta have a straight face. So the first type of driving I'm gonna bring to you is What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to the BTR Garage. My name is Justin. In this video, we're gonna be catching you up on all of the racing that we've been doing on my 2022 Toyota GR86 and why I am keeping that thing in stock form. I'm gonna be bringing you all sorts of different types of performance driving that I've done so far in the GR86, from canyon drives to autocross to a mix of autocross and track, and also track driving as well. Now, before we get into things, if you guys have not done already, please hit that subscribe button down below. Follow along for all the new videos that we have coming up here very soon. We got a lot more content for the GR86 coming. For the moment, like I mentioned though, we are going to be keeping the car stock. If you guys remember the things that we have done to the car up to this point, we've got the Borla exhaust on the car, which I absolutely love. We've also installed the Cusco pedal attachment to make the heel toe shifting a little bit easier. And we have OEM Toyota crash bolts on the front for just a smidge bit of camber. So technically speaking, the car is not 100% stock, but other than that, is stock other than those couple bolt-ons. So some of the first kind of performance driving that I've done in the GR86 was actually canyon driving. Shelby came along for the first time in the canyon drive and she was pretty impressed. How did you feel about that?
Terrible.
She felt terrible. She almost puked. She said I was going way too fast, but you had a lot of fun though, right? She had a lot of fun, trust me. And she got to do autocross as well. We're gonna put some of the autocross up there of you in the car. We brought a lot of friends and family for autocross ride-alongs when we were in San Diego, and that was super fun because we got to drift the car around the track, just not worry about competition, and overall just have a good time and throw the car around. Ready? So you did both autocross and the canyon driving. What did you like better? What was more fun?
The autocross.
Why was the autocross more fun?
Because I didn't puke. Didn't almost puke.
She didn't almost puke. Probably because the autocross runs only last 30 seconds. But anyways, gonna get you some more autocross footage. We're gonna jump into that.
It is tentacle.
Go ahead.
So back in Arizona, doing some more autocross with the GR86. This is exhibit, I don't know, C or D on why I am keeping the car stock or in mostly stock form, at least for the time being. And that's because these things are so unbelievably fun right from the factory, and I attribute that largely to the new engine. You now have a pretty playful and powerful engine that puts power down when you want it, unlike the old cars, which was really annoying, as we all know. But with the new engine, it just makes it so much more fun to take out, do an autocross, and drive. And you have some pretty decent tires in the PS4s. They're not the most competitive thing out there, but they are fun to drive on. The car has lots of tail happy and drifting types of capabilities, which we're gonna kind of showcase here. It's a little compilation of sliding around the autocross course and almost entirely left-hand turns from that particular day. I think it was, but tons of fun to drive, tons of fun to slide around, and I really don't want to add any suspension or better wheels and tires because it just takes away from that playfulness and fun driving experience. Then we'll get to the autocross on the track, which is kind of a hybrid autocross and track. Now, of course, there will come a time when I will start upgrading the car. Obviously, when you add things like wheels, tires, and suspension, the car becomes much quicker. It will actually be more competitive when it comes to racing. I'm not very competitive in autocross or even in the time attack that I've done with NASA so far in TT5, but that's to be expected. When you add grippier tires, motorsport suspension, etc., the mechanical grip just increases dramatically, but it kind of takes away from the fun level of the car, like railing through that slalom right there, just fishtailing the car through there. You're not really going to do that when the car has a lot more grip. It'll be a little bit less forgiving, a little bit more knife edge, and I don't know, just kind of sometimes takes away from the driving experience. And this is that autocross plus track course that I mentioned earlier in the video, kind of a mix between track and autocross. Super fun style of driving and layout. Big track, we went to Utah Motorsports Campus, actually did a 1,500-mile round trip where we drove out to Utah, 700 something miles. We did a day of HPDE in the car and then drove all the way home. The car worked flawless. And to show how versatile this car is, for this particular trip, I had to load up a bunch of stuff. My race gear, my bike gear. I actually took my mountain bike and we went out to Park City for some mountain biking while I was there. As you can see, I got my mountain bike stuffed in the trunk now with all of my gear and my luggage, race car stuff, etc. And the tires pretty much fit, a little bit of a tight squeeze, but we got it in there, and yeah, made the long trip all the way to Utah Motorsports Campus, formerly known as Miller Motorsports Park. Getting some laps in with the GR86. This was the first track experience with the car. Utah Motorsports Outer Loop, which is what we were driving, is a massive track. It's over 3 miles long. It takes well over 2 minutes to get around the track, and in the GR86 it closed 2.5 minutes. My time attack car was about 2 minutes 14 seconds. I've actually driven this track a few other times, a couple other full events in my time attack BMW. It's a little bit boring in the GR86, I'll admit, just because it's a little bit low powered for the gigantic track with massive straights. The front straight on the track is huge, and it's a lot of sweeping high-speed corners, not very technical, so you're not doing a lot in between each corner. Like I mentioned, lots of big straights and kind of a high-powered course. I would love to actually drive some of the east or west tracks here at Utah at some point, just because they are a lot more small and tighter and more technical, not quite as large and free-flowing. That said, this track is awesome in my time attack car because it's on Hoosier slicks. It's got a lot more power and it's got aero as well, so the corner speeds are ridiculous in my other car. Not so much in the GR86, but still fun, and enjoyed it out there and was able to improve my times over the weekend. So session number 2 in the GR86 is complete. I didn't do any like post-session videos after the first session. I was just trying to test out my brakes, make sure they worked after putting the new pads in, the new fluid, and nothing fell apart on the car. But everything went well. We were able to push a little bit harder in the second session here, and just looking at my times from my data, my times are like 12 seconds slower than my Time Attack BMW out here, which makes total sense. The BMW has aero and it's lighter than this car, has a little more power and slicks as well, Hoosier slicks. So anyways, had a lot of fun. It was fun to drive. The car super well behaved, even with the camber bolts and a little bit of extra camber in the front. It's not unpredictable or anything like that, still super well balanced. But we had 2 more sessions for the day and loving it so far. We're gonna head back out there and maybe bring you some more track footage, but talk to you in a bit. Bonus track footage from Arizona Motorsports Park just this past weekend, actually. Weekend of October 29th and 30th. We were out doing NASA time trials in the TT5 class. Like I mentioned earlier, the car being stock is not at all competitive. There was another GR86 out there with suspension, wheels, and tires, and some other modifications that had about a 5 or 6 second advantage on me from a time perspective at this track. So like I said, when you do those upgrades, the cars certainly become quicker, obviously, but again, had so much fun with this thing, and now that I'm a little bit more comfortable with it, was able to push quite a bit harder. I still don't do a full 10 tenths on these cars because, well, it's brand new and I don't have a cage in it or anything like I do in my competition Time Attack car. So while I'm pushing hard, I'm not taking any big risks, but still have fun with it. That's the goal, right? And after each one of my sessions, I couldn't wait to get out again and try to go faster, try to improve my times, try to learn more about the car. And the great thing about the Michelin PS4 tire, despite the fact that it's not super fast or competitive, it is very consistent. I can go an entire Time Attack session or time trials session and not notice any decrease in grip or, you know, greasiness in the tire or decrease in feel, and they stay just as fast as when I first go out on the first couple laps. So that's awesome when you're trying to improve and put in laps to learn the car, learn the track, which I also had to do because it was my first time at this track. But anyways, super fun, awesome time. All right, everybody, we're gonna wrap it up for today's video. Thank you all for watching. We really appreciate it. Like I said earlier, more good stuff coming up very soon for both the GR86 and hopefully my Time Attack BMW. We haven't gotten this thing out on the track lately, mostly because I haven't gotten new tires for it. Tires are expensive for these cars, but we're loving the GR86 and we're driving that most of this winter race season. So thanks again, everybody, for watching. Really appreciate it. Stay safe out there. I am checking out. We'll talk to you all next time.